Hello, my name is Leonid. I clean apartments where bodies have been decomposing for a long time, from a minimum of 3 days up to 2 months. You might wonder why the neighbors didn't notice anything. It's because everything was sealed off, like a tomb, devoid of oxygen. Naturally, there's a smell, but it's all contained in a vacuum. I've been doing this for 10 years. I used to work in construction. I came across such apartments that were, let's say, in a moral decline. They needed to be restored so that people could live in them afterward. I saw a niche in helping people who need this kind of cleaning. If the apartment isn't cleaned, it would be very bad. When a human body dies, a chemical reaction occurs within 4 hours, releasing adipocere, also known as corpse wax, that spreads throughout the space and permeates every material present. We treat all surfaces. If some items, like furniture, can be salvaged, we save them. If not cleaned, people could experience dizziness, nausea. It smells like rotten meat and spoiled fish. The odor penetrates everything: floors, carpets, wood, concrete, wallpaper, ceilings, curtains. That's why we treat every surface in the room. My first job involved cleaning an apartment where someone who had heavily consumed alcohol had passed away. I experienced a mild tremor. I used cotton wool, sprayed it with deodorant, and stuffed it into my nostrils to block out the smell. Before entering, I prayed and called on Jesus Christ for protection. Clients usually call me for an initial assessment over the phone, describing the situation and what happened. If possible, I ask them to send a video. I wear a mask and a gas mask, enter the apartment, and conduct a diagnostic. Then, the stages of work begin, including chemical treatment with organic acidic materials, followed by chlorine-based chemical treatment. We have a special device that plugs into a socket and disperses a chemical fog throughout the apartment under pressure. It coats the walls. It gets everywhere, on the walls, on the ceiling. It's essential to remove all small items in the room. Pack up and store all the decor and knickknacks. Everything small must be cleared away. That's crucial for thorough cleaning. These are all the small details that need to be removed. Otherwise, everything will just scatter, and it will seem like a mess was made. What do we leave behind? Essentially, just the corpses of bacteria, which we then wash away. You can't see where it went. The corpse poison, which is very dangerous, prompts us to remove floorboards to check further spread. Sometimes the boards stop it. Sometimes it seeps between the board and the tile. On the ground floor, in the kitchen, it just flows. And I tell them, I can clean here, but what about the rest of your place? We might use various discs for cutting concrete or metal. We bring crowbars, hammers, saws, and angle grinders. There was a case where I arrived and found the bathtub completely black because an elderly lady had died in it, and the body had lain there. The adipocere started to emit. Everything began to rise in the water. So naturally, the water contained everything. Clothes might get saturated with the smell, and even hair can get soaked. It's crucial to eat something beforehand. If you come on an empty stomach, you'll smell everything. First, you could get poisoned, and second, you might constantly have a gag reflex, sort of like the stench of rotten eggs. The case that stands out the most to me involved an apartment infested with bedbugs and cockroaches. The whole place was in moral decay, absolutely destroyed. The occupant led a dissolute life, and after his death, his body decomposed. He had been lying there for, I believe, 2 weeks, and there was a massive, hardened mound of dirt on the floor. It's mandatory for us to arrive after the police have finished their investigation. We got a call asking if we could clean up. Yes, we can, of course, I said. But what's the situation? They said there was blood. They provided full details of what had happened. I asked if the police had been there. They hadn't. Just come and clean, they said. I told them no, we don't handle such cases. Even for a lot of money, I said, we wouldn't come. In another case, in a village, a man died and his skin peeled off so that it covered half of his armchair. It looked like the chair was upholstered in human skin. When you see that, it's crucial not to get overwhelmed by what you're dealing with. So, I always enter with a positive attitude, understanding that it's just my job. I play music while I work. It varies. Maybe a 90s disco, anything really. There was also an interesting case where a man lived alone until his relatives found him. When we were disinfecting the apartment, we had to lift the floorboards. I discovered 2 skeletons underneath. They were 2 cats. This man had lived with the decomposition of these animals while he was alive, and the smell had dissipated. Then, he himself decomposed, and beneath him, those cats had long since decayed. We encounter apartments with various challenges: fires, accidents, habitual drinkers, drug addicts, those with schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, and individuals who can't care for themselves properly, leading to filth from feces, cats, dogs, and hoarding situations. I believe that business should not be just about profit, but also involve social work. That's why I help those with alcohol and drug dependencies by offering them jobs, showing them that they are not society's rejects. When we clean an apartment and find leftover alcohol, I tell them, here it is. Now we're going to pour this vodka down the toilet. And as he pours out the vodka, he says, the past is gone, now everything is new. The hardest part is convincing a client of the necessity of our work. It's not just a simple wipe down with rags. Most people undervalue what we do, thinking a quick wipe is enough. The biggest reward, however, is seeing the grateful smiles on people's faces when they thank you. Sometimes I hug them, sometimes they hug me, sometimes there are tears of joy. After fires, I've given flowers, saying, let this be the first living thing in here, this flower. Of course, there are downsides to the job. It's different from sitting in an office, dealing with dirty work. But you can always find something positive in the dirt because cleanliness remains after the mess. People often ask, how did you get into this? Isn't it disgusting? Dangerous? Revolting? Don't you feel like throwing up? I say, no. I've developed an immunity. I'm not afraid of death. Let the living take care of the living, and the dead will take care of the dead. You are here on this earth for exactly as long as you need to be. Being someone who cleans apartments after death is about leaving a trace of love, a clean one.